Now, something that I also want is to add the instruction that says press to start. Okay, so I'm going to go to add this button inside of the canvas. So I'm clicking on the canvas and I look for the press to start and press to jump. That will be just a simple image. So I should see the image inside of the instruction of the menu folder. Yep, here it is. Tap to jump, and I'm going to drag and drop this inside of the canvas. All right, and I'm going to move this down a little bit. So I'm going to take the Y and move it down. All right. Now, I only want to see the instruction whenever I press play. So I need to have an access to the instruction. I'm going to the manager reference script and add a reference to it. Public, game object, and the object is the instructions. All right. And at the beginning, the instructions will not show. So in the start, I put instructions dot set active false. I basically turned it off. And now, whenever I press the button, whenever I go to the player script, whenever the button is pressed, here, whenever I unfreeze, I need to set it up as well. So I need to remove the instruction. Going back to the manager references, inside of the unfreeze, what do? I say instructions.setActive false. I'm sorry, yes, it's false, but when we freeze the player sphere, we set it active to, we set the set active for the instruction to true here. Okay, so whenever we start the game, we show the instruction, and after we the player taps on the screen, we hide the instructions. All right, now I need to assign the instructions inside of the manager. So I'm clicking on the manager, and I see the I should see the instructions anytime. I don't see it yet. Oh yes, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to drag and drop the instructions game object inside of the instructions reference of the manager references. All right, now I'm going to press play. All right, I'm going to press play here, and somehow I don't see the instructions. So either they're too far off. Oh, I think I know why, because I put the instruction inside of the main panel. Yep, that's definitely what it is. I need to put it inside of the canvas, not the main panel. That's what happened. All right, so pressing play. All right, I'm going to press the play button, and somehow I still don't see it. So there's something going on here. The instructions are still not active. So let's see what's going on with that. So I see the unfreeze. So the only reason why this would happen is that because somehow the unfreeze is getting called too early. Let's see. Okay, so whenever we press play, oh yes, that's what's going on. Whenever we press play, we need to show it. So we need to set it active. So I'm going to cut this here and put it here. So display instructions, and we had it. We set it in a to-do. So set active true. That's what's going on. All right. Now let's see. Hopefully that's all it is. Press play. Yep. Tap to jump. And now if I tap, let's see. Yep. The instructions are gone. Excellent. Everything works as intended. Cool. Now next is to work on the game over panel. So let's create the game over panel. Inside of the canvas, right click, UI panel. So I create a new panel, and I'm going to name it game over panel. Game over panel. Now, inside of that panel, I need to modify the left, top, right, and left. I'm going to put 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay, let's go with 20. So I'm adding some margins to it. Okay, 20, 20, 20, and 20, just like the main panel. And inside of it, I need the game over screen. So I'm going to take this game over and drag and drop this inside of the game over panel. All right, and now it says game over. I want to remove this. I want to move this up, so I'm going to play with the Y and move the game over up. Right, somewhere around here. Cool. And we also need to to add some button to say replay, right? So that would be nice if I had a replay button. I don't. So what I'm going to do is reuse the play button for now. Okay. So to use the play button, what we could use is just select the play button and add it here. So I'm going to take the button play and put it inside of it. All right. So I'm going to duplicate. So right click, duplicate, and move it inside of the game over panel. Cool. All right. Now that I have the button play, it already has the right code to play. And what I want to do is also add inside of the manager, I want to add a reference to the game over panel. So going inside the manager reference, I'm going to add a reference to it. Public game object, game over panel. Right. And now I need to assign it. Here in the manager, I'm going to assign the game over. Here it is. So I select the game over panel and put it inside of the game over references. Cool. Now going back to the script, I need to hide it whenever the game starts, right? So whenever the game starts, inside of the freeze player sphere, I can also hide it. So I'm going to go to the freeze player sphere. Actually, let me do it right below it because it does not belong inside of the freeze player. It belongs right below. So game over panel. Set active false. That basically hides it. Right? Now what we need to do next is whenever we start and click on play, this should already be off. But whenever we lose, we should show the game over. So let's add a method to show the game over. Public void show game over panel. And what this does, right now, it's just going to say game over panel dot set active to true. That will show it. We save that. And let's create a method to hide the game over panel. We might not need it. But whenever we press the play button, we also want to hide the game over panel. So where is the play button? So whenever the play button here, press play button, we also want game over panel dot set active false. All right. And let's save. Okay, so technically we should be good to go. We have not called the show game over panel. So we need to call this show game over panel. And this is called whenever the player dies, right? So the player dies at multiple spots. It dies whenever the manager, whenever the trigger script has game over here. So definitely it dies here. So what do we do here? We're going to call the reference. So that's manager references. Actually, we can just take the line right above. We already had it. Perfect. So I'm going to copy this and put it inside of the trigger. All right. I just need to change the code. All right. And the code would be refs.show game over panel. All right. And put a semicolon at the end and save. Good. Now, something I just remembered is that whenever we have the game over, what do? We need to also say that the game is not on. So whenever we are in the manager references, here we also say game is on is equal to false because the game is not on anymore. That's very important. All right. And let's make sure that we have the game is on true whenever we press the play. Yep, that's good. All right, let's save. Let's go back to Unity and let's try this out. I'm going to press play. Right, now I'm going to press the play button. Oh, somehow it's not working. So there might be an error somewhere. Oh, I pause it. That's what it is. Okay, good. I scared myself for nothing. All right, I'm going to press play. Now it says tap to jump. So I start tapping. Okay, good. And everything seems to be working. So now I'm gonna try to lose on purpose by going through a different color. Boom. All right, game over.